Today on Ballot, we've got the Hashtag TrumpSmells ad campaign that's taken American politics in a foul direction. I'm Journey Joe Mitchell. Get ready for a whiff of controversy as we explore the stinky side of political advertising. But that's not all. We'll also be serving up Nikki Haley, dropping the classic "I had black friends growing up" card. First up, it's the Lincoln Project. They recently unveiled an online ad with the hashtag TrumpSmells, targeting former President Donald Trump. The 40-second video, titled Limburger and produced by the anti-Trump organization, was initially posted on the social media network formerly known as Twitter. The ad featured visuals of garbage dumps, animal feces, dirty diapers, and moldy cheese, accompanied by audio of someone reacting to unpleasant smells. Comedian Kathy Griffin added her commentary, likening Trump's scent to body odor with a scented makeup product. Former Rep. Adam Kinzinger, a political adversary of Trump's, had previously commented on the matter in December, leading to the ad's creation. Trump's spokesperson responded to Kinzinger, dismissing him as a fraud and a sad individual. Nikki Haley has been doing some major backtracking after omitting slavery from her initial response about the causes of the Civil War, and you won't believe her defense. She said, "I had black friends growing up." Let's break this down, folks. So, Nikki Haley was asked about the Civil War at a town hall in New Hampshire, and she conveniently left out the whole slavery thing. After facing criticism from all sides, she finally admitted that, yes, the Civil War was indeed about slavery. But here's the kicker. She tried to explain herself by saying, if you grow up in South Carolina, literally in 2nd and 3rd grade, you learn about slavery. You grow up and you have, I had black friends growing up. She goes on to talk about her childhood in a racially divided town, where racism was discussed more than slavery. She even pointed out that her family was the only Indian family in town. Her defense didn't go over too well online. Republican strategist Scott Jennings summed it up perfectly, saying, "It unspools and it unspools. Less is more here. Take the L and move on." At a recent campaign event in Newton, Iowa, Donald Trump made remarks suggesting that the U.S. Civil War could have been negotiated, a statement that drew criticism from historians and political opponents. Trump commented on the Civil War, saying, "The Civil War was so fascinating, so horrible, so many mistakes were made. See, there was something I think could have been negotiated, to be honest with you. I think you could have negotiated that. All the people died, so many people died. That was the disaster." He described the Civil War as vicious and speculated that if Abraham Lincoln had negotiated it, Lincoln might not be as well known today. Historians noted that compromises had been attempted before the Civil War, such as the 1820 Missouri Compromise, which addressed the expansion of slavery and the status of new states entering the Union. However, the issue ultimately became unsolvable due to conflicting interests. Former House member Liz Cheney and others also criticized Trump's remarks, questioning how any part of the Civil War could have been negotiated. The Trump campaign did not provide further clarification on what a negotiation related to the Civil War would have entailed, while a campaign spokesperson dismissed the criticism as politically motivated. NPR looked at President Biden's unpopularity with Generation X, who, according to the report, think the liberals have always been up to their shenanigans, talking about socially responsible stuff but being fiscally irresponsible. NPR PBS NewsHour Marist polling tells us that Gen Xers are the most skeptical of President Biden, with the highest disapproval rating at 62%. That's higher than the silent greatest generation baby boomers and Gen Z millennials. Gen Xers are like, nah, we're not feeling it. So why is Gen X leaning this way? Well, it could have something to do with the political climate during their formative years. You see, they had an unpopular President Jimmy Carter and a pretty popular Republican named Ronald Reagan. Politics is all about timing. Even those Gen Xers who kinda sorta like Biden still have a soft spot for the politics of their youth. Remember Ronald Reagan? He made being American feel great. But for some, their support for Biden is a bit shaky. They're worried about his age, and if a younger Democrat shows up, they might just switch teams. But right now, it's all about keeping those Trump-loving Republicans at bay. But it's not just politics. It's the economy, too. Gen Xers are dealing with a lot of financial worries: aging parents, raising kids, saving for retirement, skyrocketing housing costs, and higher prices for everything from food to gas. They're feeling the squeeze, my friends. That's why messages like "Make America Great Again" resonate with them, especially with older Gen Xers. They saw their parents do well and they want a piece of the pie too. Now, culture wars are nothing new to Gen Xers. They're the ones who came up with the term political correctness. But the current debate over policing speech? Not their cup of tea. Gen Xers take pride in being tough and having real conversations, even with people they disagree with. Cancel culture and wokeism? They're not buying it. More in just a moment. The Washington Post wondered if the Supreme Court actually disqualified Trump. Conventional wisdom suggests that a conservative-leaning Supreme Court with 3 Trump nominees would likely reject the premise for disqualifying Trump from the ballot. But legal scholars propose various scenarios for a Supreme Court ruling on this matter. J. Michael Luttig, a prominent Trump critic and conservative former federal appeals court judge, believes that the Supreme Court could affirm a state court's decision to disqualify Trump from a primary ballot based on the 14th Amendment's ban on officials who shall have engaged in insurrection. University of Maryland law professor Mark A. Graber believes that disqualification has a puncher's chance at the Supreme Court, but acknowledges the court's tendency to use originalism selectively or invent history. Some legal scholars argue that while the case for disqualification is legally straightforward, they lack confidence in the court's decision due to the justice's considerations beyond the law. Several potential routes the court could take fall short of disqualifying Trump, such as declining to rule expeditiously, allowing the central question to remain unresolved, or applying the 14th Amendment only to primary ballots. Another theory is that the court may punt on the issue, suggesting that Trump must first be convicted of insurrection, requiring Congress to pass legislation for enforcement, or finding that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to presidents. That's it for today. I'm Journey Joe Mitchell, reminding you to support whoever you want. But remember that when you cast your vote, you're not just shaping the present, you're influencing the future. Your voice matters, and it's a vital part of our collective journey.